Do you want to know what the number one enemy to your dreams are? I'm Amy, and I'm here to talk to you today about the power of self-doubt, the destructive power of self-doubt. The reason that so many dreams go to the graveyard, the reason that so many businesses never get started, so many books never get written, so many songs never get published is self-doubt. Self-doubt is toxic to your dream. It's lethal to it. But I've got like 3 keys that I believe will help propel you through to push through self-doubt. Here's the truth of it. 90% of all businesses fail. First-time businesses. 80% of all second businesses, or 90% of all second businesses succeed. 80% of people that failed once in business won't start a second business. Self-doubt. Self-doubt, that lethal, toxic thing of self-doubt. If anyone has ever had any level of success or accomplished anything or done anything out of the norm, they've dealt with self-doubt. Whether they became a great athlete, whether they became a great student, whether they became a great leader, whether their first day of any new job, their first experience on this, self-doubt is the thing. It's a natural thing. It's a normal thing. It happens. It's that thing that's always out there speaking to you. Who do you think you are? You're not qualified. All those voices from within. Every day we face the giant of self-doubt. Every day. You're like, Amy, I really don't. That inner talk. You might not recognize it. That inner voice, maybe that you've gotten so comfortable with. Maybe it even feels like an old friend to you. Who do you think you are? You could never do that. You could never change the way things look for your family. You don't have the ability. You're an imposter. That whole imposter syndrome is a real thing. That lethal self-doubt will destroy more lives, destroy more families, destroy more opportunities than anything out there. And there is a way that I believe that you can propel yourself through it. And I'm going to give you 3 keys to propelling yourself through self-doubt so you can move on, live on, and to accomplish your dreams. And here's what they are. First of all, write your vision. Write that compelling vision on a piece of paper that you can keep close to you, that you can look at it every day. Because the more you stare at your vision, the more you stare at your dreams, the more you look at what you've actually written, right? The more it becomes a part of you. The more it goes to bed with you at night, the more it sleeps with you, the more that everything during your day is constantly focused on it. You can't get away from it. So write the vision. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain that he that may run that readeth it. Like, it's so powerful, writing the vision. You're like 50% more likely to accomplish anything if you write it down. So write the vision and stare at it, because you become what you look at. You become what you stare at. So there's that. But number 2, how else do I get past that, Amy? Okay, I've written the vision. It's been hanging on my mirror. I've looked at it, but I still can't seem to get past the crippling self-doubt. Number 2, write your affirmations down. Speak those positive, affirming things of well-able about yourself. And I talk often about the power of your words because you really only believe your own voice. But I want to talk to you about the 3rd key, which I think is the most critical key to moving forward, to beyond the borders of fear, to beyond the borders of limitation, to literally living your dreams. Are you ready for it? It's action-based. And this is what it is. Every day, you have to become obsessed with the activity that is required to produce your dream and not even look at the outcomes. You have to obsess over the activity and glance at the outcomes. If you obsess over the activity and you obsess over who you're becoming while doing the daily mundane activity, right? And you just glance at the outcome, you're just along for the process of becoming, the process of transforming who you are, the process of being more self-confident because you know that you do what you say you're going to do. The outcomes will start to speak for themselves. But if you look at the outcomes, that's the big problem. That's where you either will look at it and you'll overshoot your confidence and say, oh yeah, I got it. Look what happened there. And you'll quit. You'll get lackadaisical. Or you'll look at what it didn't accomplish and you'll quit before you even really get started. Guys, it is the subtlety in life. It might not seem like it's a big deal, But that keeps more people bound to mediocrity, bound to a life that they really don't love, is that they get involved with the activity, but they obsess over the outcome. When we have to do a reversal, we have to obsess about the daily activities, the one foot in front of the other that drives your future, and just glance. I've recorded over 100 podcasts. And if I had to go back and if I looked at the numbers all the time, if I focused on the numbers all the time, I would be tempted to just quit the podcast. There'd be a week I'd say, I'll forget it. I don't want to do that. What's the point? If I looked at the social media posts I put out there, the lack of likes or the lack of comments or the lack of anything, I'd be tempted to just say, oh, what's the point? Take it as self-rejection and go home and pack my bags up, right? Wham, wham, wham. Guys, these are real things. So I'm just want to just like pull the mask off of things. If you've started a new podcast and you don't like your numbers, keep going. Obsess about the activity. Glance at the outcome. Eventually it changes. But who you become in the process of your daily discipline, who you become in the activity is what the goal is. Because your greatest potential to change your life is in your own growth. When you grow, when you change, everything around you changes. When you become confident, when you become, hey, I know who I am, I know what I do, and I do it every day, I'm disciplined and I'm consistent, it starts to create a ripple effect of consistency and discipline all over your life. And when things start to turn and they're turning, people start to go, what's going on? You may often appear as an overnight success, even though you've been in the archives and you've been in the bowels of the earth doing your daily activities for forever and ever and ever, and it hasn't produced anything yet. Think about this. A chapter written every day, a page written every day produces a 365-page book at the end of the year. It's the little things. We often overshoot, we overestimate what we can accomplish in like a 5-year window. And we underestimate what we can really do in a 1-year window. I'm telling you guys, it's the little things every single day. Obsess over the activity and glance at the outcome. So obsess over the fact, if you're writing a book, get in it every day and write for 10 minutes every day. At the end of the week, you'll have spent an hour writing in your book. At the end of the month, you'll have spent, 4 hours writing in your book. Like, guys, at the end of the year, you'll have spent 48 hours just writing your book. Do you think that you'll accomplish something with that? You will. If you're starting an exercise program and you're like, man, I just didn't see the weight fall off. Just stay true to the consistent activity. You're walking the mile. Hey, that's 7 a week. That's 35 a month. Guys, do you start to see the compounding effect of activity? So yeah, maybe you didn't drop 10 pounds the first month that you started to change your diet and started to do whatever, and to make changes, but the long-term effects of that consistent daily obsession with activity, it drives the needle forward like nothing else does. When I look at people, and myself included, because I've done this, I've fallen prey to the sting of self-doubt. I've fallen prey to the sting of the outcome didn't produce what I wanted to produce, so I went and quit. And I just made a commitment to myself that my future self will thank me if I don't quit. My future self, my future generations, future people in my life will thank me if I don't quit. So every day I'm going to obsess over the activity that could potentially bring forth my expected outcome. But here's what I know. The more I hone in on that skill, the more I hone in on that craft, the more I hone in on that discipline of just being committed to doing the daily, the more that skill changes, the more impact it starts to create, the more locked in I get. And then when I stare at that thing on that piece of paper every day, it will get you out of bed. It'll wake you up in the morning. It'll keep you moving when you just got the wind knocked out of you. And then if you just keep daily affirming who you are, you're well able, you're equipped, you're smart, you're capable, you're talented, you're on this earth, this moment for this exact purpose. You bring something, you carry something to the earth that people need, that no one else can deliver to them, because you are uniquely you with your perspective, your giftings, your talents, your abilities, your voice, and the way you think. When you think about those things, right, doesn't it beg of you to push past that feeling of self-doubt? It begs of you, doesn't it? It begs of you that you would literally Keep moving. It begs you to keep moving. When the vision is big enough and when the dream is big enough, the facts really don't count. When the dream is big enough and that vision, that compelling thing is big enough, the facts don't count. So to keep your dreams moving forward, do this. Focus, obsess about the activity that will be required to move it forward, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Glance at the outcomes, but keep your eye on the prize. Who am I becoming in the practice of all these disciplines? Who am I becoming in my daily activity? Who am I becoming, right? And focus on that. Because eventually, the compounding effect of activity after activity after activity, 10 minutes in that book every day, 10 minutes listening to a podcast, listening to an audiobook every single day. It doesn't have to be massive. It's the micro commitments in our life. It's the micro disciplines in our life that literally drive the boat. I always say this when I'm looking at my own life and I look at, I run a team. I can look at the daily habits and the daily patterns. It's really our daily habits that predict our future. That really is. It's our daily habits, our daily activities. Tell self-doubt to take a back seat. When you hear those thoughts, who do you think you are? You'll never make it. You're not qualified. Oh, there's so many more people out there that are better than you. Tell those thoughts to go right back to where they came from, the pit of hell. Tell them to go to hell. I do that all the time. Go to hell. I'm not going to listen to that thought. Shut up. I'm not listening to that thought. Go to hell. I say those things all the time. I was walking down the road the other day and this thought hit me and it kept pounding on my head. Finally, I literally said out loud, hey, go back to where you came from. Hell, goodbye. And I started to affirm, I'm blessed. I'm equipped. I'm well able. Guys, everybody has to walk through the same giants on the inside. Those giants of self-doubt are border guards to keep you from everything you want in life. So push past it. Again, I'm just going to wrap it up in conclusion. Stare at your vision that you've written down. Stare at your dream every day. Look at that, what you've written down every single day. In the morning, at night, during the day, look on it. Maybe you put it as a screensaver on your phone. Whatever it is that you see it all the time. That body you want, that checkbook you want, that account balance that you want, that relationship that you want, whatever it is, that book that you want to write, that podcast, that impact that you want to have, that business that you want to start, write it down, stare at it. Affirm a lot of positive affirmations over your own life. Speak them out loud. Don't just stick them in your head. Speak them out loud. Again, your voice is the only one your spirit really responds to. It's the only voice that your spirit really believes. Do that. And then obsess about the activity and forget about the outcome. Obsess about the activity and forget about the outcome. It's so much easier done, but I promise you, if you just obsess on the activity and you just keep doing the same thing day in, day out, obsessing about the commitment and the micro commitments and doing those things, eventually you'll glance over and go, whoa, I just did all that. Wow. I literally just wrote a book. Wow. I literally just produced 100 and some podcasts. Wow. You will start I literally just sold, 50 houses. I literally just sold 100 houses. I literally just sold, you just keep moving those, focus on those things. I literally just lost 20 pounds. I literally walked, 60 miles this month. There's so many things, guys, that when you think about it, obsess over the daily activity and leave the results to themselves. So stay in that vein and just glance at your outcomes, glance at them and stay in the game. If you stay in the game, you win. 90% of winning in life is showing up and not quitting. Guys, that's where it's at. 90% of winning in life is showing up and not quitting. You've got this. I believe in you. I'm cheerleading you on. Keep going. I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this podcast or if you think anyone could benefit from it, please share it out. I appreciate it because truly you are more.